want to run a short clip.
Okay.
It doesn't have a billboard in it, but it does have an intersection. And I want you to pay real close attention. I want everybody who's watching to pay real close attention, because we're going to ask ourselves whether this intersection is safe or not. Let's roll that clip.
Go. We're going to roll something.
Okay. One car goes right.
These cars are doing what? They're running around.
They're running around.
And they're spinning out.
They're all spinning out. That one got hurt seriously. That car leaves the intersection, goes across the other side, and crashes into a car. These cars are losing traction. Okay, you want to see?
So this is a street. This is a street where cars are going around a curve. The street's wet, and they're crashing out and crashing into things.
All of them are going around. What is that? Okay,
wow.
There. Okay.
Okay.
Now, is that something wrong with that intersection, or is everybody going too fast, or is that part of the problem? Should there be signage? Should there be a different design? What do we do? What do we do to make that intersection safe? And is there a lawsuit there?
Well, who's liable? Who's liable for all these crashes? Is the car? Are the cars and trucks going too fast?
Yeah, but they're all going the same speed. They're all spinning out.
And they're all going within the speed limit, probably. It looks like.
I believe they're all going within the speed limit.
So you've got an intersection that either there should be a stop sign at,
right,
or they should slow the traffic down slower,
right,
because it looked like the streets were wet there too.
I'm sorry. How many times have you been driving in any area, city or countryside, doesn't matter, where you come to a sign that says curve slow, slow to 10 miles an hour if necessary?
Most ex-Dodger players have that. There could be liability on behalf of the government. Just assume that at that corner that there's also one of those visual cameras, so that they see everything that's going on, so that the government who's operating the camera would have knowledge of it. Or on the other hand, the highway commissioner or someone from the city who's a muckety-muck in the highway department drives that road every day and therefore would know about it. Or the citizens around the area who live there have been writing to their elected officials every week, this is a dangerous corner, do something about it. So if you have that, you have notice on the government, then the government should be given a reasonable time to fix it. If not, it's a dangerous, defective public condition. However, when you're suing governments for these kind of situations, there's a thing called design immunity. And if this highway was designed with appropriate standards at the time they made it, and the traffic was about the same, et cetera, there may not be any liability at all.
So you're telling me that the fellow who was driving that blue truck who crashed, it looks like that was one of the more serious accidents, comes to you and says, I was driving along and all of a sudden I was heading into the wall and I crashed into the wall. I have no idea what happened.
Was that a Toyota?
I don't think it was a Toyota,
but
I'm not sure.
Well, the problem with these lawsuits against governments for defective roads and highways, etc., is that if the road is safe when you put it in, and it's built to appropriate design standards at that time, unless there's a change of conditions, for instance, now the road has got 1,000 more cars on it a day, or it's become dangerous because there are other kinds of changes around the area. If it's just the way it was when it started and there are accidents on it, government may be completely out because of design immunity. On the other hand, in these kind of cases, it's always worth looking into it, because most of the times the drivers of the cars and trucks have no insurance. So when you get injured, who do you sue? You end up suing, if there's going to be a lawsuit, the person who owns the highway, and having notice of it doesn't do anything about it.
I want to take a phone call, but I want to ask you one question real quick first. One of those accidents involved a car coming from the opposite direction, where a car was going through the intersection, spun out and went through to the other side. The car coming at the car coming from the opposite direction, who does he sue?
He sues the guy that came over the road and hit him, who spun out, who may have going too fast. And then he looks around. If there's not insurance enough to pay for his injuries, or the person didn't just win the lottery, then you have to look around to see if not there's a governmental entity who was in charge of designing this road and there's been a bunch of change of circumstances, and we talk about there's been notice given, there may be a lawsuit there.
Okay.
It comes up all the time, but it's something to think about when you're driving on the roadways in Southern California.
Okay, and if you're going to sue the government, you've got a very, very short time limit to file
File
your
a claim within 6 months.
Right.
If you don't, you're going to be out of luck probably.
Okay, let's go to the phone, take a call. That'll be fun. Who's out there from Hollywood?
Yeah, hi.
Hey,
Hi,
Phil, how are you
this is
doing?
Phil. Yeah, listen, I got 2 points. The first point is that video you just showed, that's not in the States, is it? That's in Europe,
So what?
right?
Yeah, it is
It's
actually.
probably in Italy or Germany.
No, it's not. It's not from it's not a Western European area, but
Oh, I see.
But so
it
what?
doesn't look like from the States.
No, it's not. That's a very good observation. You can tell from the cars. None of the cars are
Yeah.
are the big cars.
You know, you just won dinner for 2 at Barney's Beanery for that kind of observation. Call the
Well,
800
here's
number.
why I say that, because that kind of road work is very rare here. I mean, you would never see anything like that around here.
I don't know. Have you driven
No.
Have you driven Highway 154 going from?
Well, yeah.
Or you driven?
46.
It depends on the
Yeah.
road. Do you work for a highway company or?
No. Self-employed.
Oh, then then you know what work is all about.
Yeah.
And
Bill,
you-
there actually are intersections that accumulate accidents at a higher rate than they should, and certainly more than other intersections. And then my partner litigated a case, 15 years ago, 16, 18 years ago, that involved a very poorly maintained center divider by Caltrans on the Harbor Freeway. Now, it was designed okay, but it wasn't kept up right.
They left the glare screen for about 7 or 8 miles. Every time it got hit, knocked down, they didn't repair it. And then a car coming the other way in the freeway lost its rear tire assembly. It came off, instead of getting defected by the screen, it came over and crushed the Acura going the other way and caused horrible injuries to my client. Ultimately, there was a large multi-million-dollar jury verdict and ultimately a settlement for substantial money because it was a dangerous, defective condition. They knew about it and didn't do anything about it. And the person from the highway department of the state who was in charge of the area drove that exact freeway every day for 7 years and knew about it himself.
I would think he'd know about it. Hey, Phil, your observation's fantastic.
But he had other questions.
Oh, you got another question?
Yeah.
Okay,
I want to know something about it. All this talk about corporations and corporations. I'm wondering if I could incorporate myself and then sue myself.
Incorporate yourself
what I mean?
and sue yourself?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds absurd. I know that, but I mean, what the Supreme Court did was absurd also.
Well, they do some absurd things from time to time.
Well, a corporation is an independent, separate entity. And assuming we're not talking about any insurance problems, you can make a corporation. You can own all the stock on it. You can have a different board of directors. That board, and you do something inappropriately, like you steal money from the business, or you do something that hurts the business. That corporation could legally sue you, and because it's a separate, independent entity from yourself. And assuming the corporation's in good standing, they could sue you.
Or vice versa. Hey, Phil, we got to go. We got to take a break. That's a very interesting question.
Great show.
Thank you. You get dinner for 2 at our choice. Call
Call 1-800-405-4222 right after the show's over, after 5 o'clock. Give identifying information. We'll get it to you. That's brilliant observation, by the way. Just great.
You know, I never observed that when I saw it.
I saw it too.
You didn't tell me that.
I didn't want to let you know, but I thought maybe somebody would call and mention it. Interesting. For everybody's edification, that's an Eastern European intersection. That's probably Russia. Those are Russian cars.